Good morning, everyone. I hope all of you had a very nice Christmas. Today is Thursday, December 27th, and it is time to bring you Root Boot 22's Christmassy kind of update thing. Alright, now, I've been thinking for a little bit about this. Well, not actually a little bit, I've been thinking quite a while about this. Something that I really want to do is hike the Appalachian Trail, which for those of you who don't know, probably wouldn't be watching my channel, but I'll tell you anyway. The Appalachian Trail was started way long ago. I forget the actual year, bite me. Basically for people who want to span the country on one trail, you know, for people who want to see America, you know, and it goes from Georgia to Maine, starts in Springer Mountain in Georgia, and goes all the way through 14 states to Mount Katahdin in Maine. Or you can also go from Maine down to Georgia. Either way, you're going to be doing around 2,176 miles around. So needless to say, it's a pretty long trail, and for the average hiker it should take anywhere between 4 and 8 months to complete if you go through the entire thing all at once. So basically what I want to do, it's a little better, what I want to do is do a through hike. That'd be pretty cool. So I would want to start in Maine and go all the way down to Georgia, because as we all know, the further south you get, or closer to the equator, not the further south, but the closer to the equator that you get during the course of the year, starting from January to December, it'll get warmer. So what a lot of people do is they go down to Georgia, and they go there in like between March and May, and then by the time that they get to Maine, if they even make it that far, but by the time that they get to Maine, it ends up being around October. And October in Maine is very cold and very snowy. And there's a section in Maine called the 100-Mile Wilderness, where it is literally 100 miles of wilderness. There's no towns, there's no stores. It's basically just a straight shot through the woods for 100 miles. Now for me, that would equal around, depending on the snowfall, that would equal around 5 to 10 days of hiking. Now my average speed when I'm hiking is 4 miles per hour. And on a given day, I can do well over 10 miles in a given day. For a lot of folks, that's what they budget themselves, is 10 miles a day. In my other videos that you've seen, I clearly am capable of doing triple that. My record is around 36 miles in a day. And true, by the end I was pretty wiped out, but good night's sleep, I could do it again the next day. You know, I'm not saying I'm going to do 30 miles a day, you know, because that would just be ridiculous. And also, the trail that I did do 30-something miles on was all sorts of varying terrain, hills, rivers, creeks, rocks. I was scrambling, had to climb up some stuff, moving trees out of the way, going through bushes and thickets and, you know, all sorts of craziness. But I'm going to budget myself between 10 and 15 miles a day, because it is a long trip. But another thing that I could do is section hike. So I could go from, you know, I could take like a couple of weeks and go from Maine to wherever, you know, and then next time I go from my wherever location down to the next wherever location, and you know, you kind of span it over the course of time, which is also a lot better for people who have stable jobs. You know, you can't really just take off 6 months from your job. I mean, if you could, that'd be awesome, and some people can do that, but not me at the moment. So basically, what I'm making this video for, I just wanted to update you guys. Is something that I really want to do, and something that I'm planning on doing next year. Is I really want to do some Appalachian Trail hiking. I need to get back into this for myself. And I live in Connecticut now, and there's sections of trail in Connecticut and Massachusetts. And I think one of them is 90 miles and one of them is like 50 miles, I think. And I think it's Connecticut is 90 miles and Massachusetts is 50 miles. In Massachusetts, it goes up in the northwest corner of Mass, and that's in the Berkshires. And that's some pretty rough terrain. But overall, it's a very nice area, you know. Further south, in Georgia, you got a lot of mountains. Virginia and Pennsylvania, it's pretty much kind of flatty, but there's a lot of rocks. There are some hills, there are some mountains, that kind of thing. But a movie that I think all of you should watch is a movie called Trek. It's Trec. I'll see if I can put like a little link or something around here. I had to buy it, and on YouTube there are teaser videos and kind of trailers and stuff. And do yourself a favor and buy the movie. You will not regret it. And I'm not necessarily against people getting file share movies and stuff, but for these guys, you really want to give them the whatever it is that they're charging for this movie, because it is a really good movie and you'll want it. It's definitely worth it, and I think that the effort that they put into this movie is well worth the money for an independent film, just to go and buy the DVD from them. And I know it's made by Cirque Productions, like Cirque du Soleil. It's CIR, whatever, I can't spell right now. I think it's just QUE, CIRQUE, it's Cirque Productions. But if you just go on Amazon or whatever and you just type in Trek, you'll see it, and it's got a picture of this guy with his trekking poles, and he's on top of like with a sunset. It's really cool. It's an awesome movie, and basically it's a story of these the bunch of friends, and they just decide we're going to do the Appalachian Trail, and they do it. They start in Georgia, and they go up to Maine. It's a through hiker's journey, I think is the subtitle, and it's a documentary film of all the things that happen there, all the people that they meet, the friendships they create. They interview people on the trail, and it's just the whole story of them going through this. And it's fantastic. It's an awesome movie. Another one that's really good, and I watched it on Netflix, is called Southbounders. And this one's not so much a documentary, it's an independent film about the Appalachian Trail. And this one woman, she leaves college against the wills of her parents because she wants to figure out what she wants to do with herself. So she goes to Maine, and then she decides that she's going to do the Appalachian Trail. And like a lot of people, she went to the gear store and she told the people in there she wanted to do the Appalachian Trail. She was going to through hike it, and they gave her this gigantic backpack full of crap, and she's generally inexperienced with hiking and longer journeys. So she starts, and she's having a really rough start, but it's the story of, it's a love story of her love for wanting to find something for her own, and for also in the people that she meets, and it's a really great story, and I think that you all would really enjoy it. So just to recap, the Southbounders and also Trek, really good movies. And if you also haven't seen it, go out and buy, rent, whatever, get Into the Wild. Excellent movie. Emil Hirsch, come on now. Great actor, great movie, go and see it. Soundtrack by Eddie Vedder, so also really good. That movie really it kind of kicked me in the pants, and I can't hold it together when I'm watching that movie. It is just such a great movie. Where was I? Okay, so we got Southbounders, we got Trek, we got Into the Wild. Another book maybe some of you might be interested in is called A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. I first read this book when I was starting college, and I love that book. It is just such a great book. Bill Bryson is an Englishman, and in this story, it's his story of his through hike of the Appalachian Trail. And he's from England, and he does like jaunts and stuff through England and whatnot, but he never really did a really big trail. So it's kind of as a really cool insider's view for a first-time hiker who attempts the AT in a through hike. It's a really good book, and it's very comical. It's very funny. It's I've never actually laughed while reading a book, and I was getting some pretty funny looks from people in the common area at school when I was reading this, because I was just throwing my head back laughing because it was just so funny. But it's funny, like when you're reading a book, if it's a funny book, you can kind of just pause, because nothing's going to keep playing and keep your laughter going. So the words that you're reading just create something really funny in you, and you laugh at that, and then you keep reading, and then you keep laughing. It's kind of funny. It's like a retarded film, you know, like not retard like ugh, but retard as in it's pausing and going all at once. You know, it's retarding. You know what I mean? Like fire retardant. This book is comically retardant, because you have to keep reading it to keep laughing and to keep getting the joke. But it's just so funny, everything that they do in this book. It's just so funny. But anyway, what I would really like to do is do a through hike of the Appalachian Trail. But I think what's going to end up happening is going to be section hikes. Because, I mean, how am I supposed to get up to Maine, you know, or how am I supposed to even go to Georgia? I'm not just going to be able to, like, hop on a train and hitch a ride to Georgia. You know, as cool as that would be, I'm not going to be able to do that. You know, especially nowadays, you know, you don't have ramblers and vagabonds hitching rides on trains very often. We all know what happened to Pee-wee. You ever seen Pee-wee's Great Adventure? Yeah, well, he got stuck with Jimmy Crack Corn, and I don't care, and jumped off a train and ended up in Dinosaur Land. So, you know, we don't really want that. But I will be making videos all along the way, and I'm going to be making videos of my preparation and everything that's going to go into it. I already know right now my main cooking system is going to be my Jetboil Zip. Very lightweight, very versatile. I can do a lot of things with it. I'm either going to take my Kelty Coyote, or I'm going to be taking my Kelty Red Wing. One of those packs, because it's very comfortable for longer trips, and I can also fit a lot in there. Plus, another cool factor with these two backpacks and the advent of internal frame packs as they're getting better is that you can kind of suck down the unneeded space. So, like when I'm using an external frame pack, I kind of have to fill the whole thing for it to be comfortable. And I think this is what they're designed for. It's designed for a certain weight range, and it's designed for a certain carry range, which I don't have a problem with. But especially for a through hike or a longer section hike, and I would classify that as a through hike. I'm going to be through hiking certain areas. So if I want to through hike 200 miles, that's a 200-mile hike, and I'm going straight through. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to have gear or not have gear as necessary. I'm going to be doing mail drops and stopping in at trail towns and things like that. So what I'm going to be wanting to do is have as little gear as possible, and then when I'm running out of food or when I'm running out of this or that, what I want to be able to have is extra room in my backpack, but not extra slack and flopping around and stuff, because it would ruin my balance and kind of ruin my stride. And for those of you who don't know, my arms are very long and my legs are very long, and I kind of walk like Bigfoot. I saw myself walking in a reflection one time, like I was walking down the street, and like a mirrored image, you know, and I saw myself, and all I could think was, I look just like that freaking Bigfoot off of the Patterson film. If you've ever seen that, it's pretty funny. You know, like the head just turns, you know, she's walking along, you know, and turns her head, and that's kind of how I walk. I thought it was funny, and I can't imagine anyone not looking at me and going, that guy looks like Bigfoot. I bet it was him, you know, because the way that my arms and legs move, it's weird. You know, I was bow-legged when I was a kid, like when I was born, and I had to wear a brace on my legs when I was asleep and stuff. So that's pretty much fixed. But then when I got into that car accident with the knee on, I screwed up my hip and my shoulder because I was driving stick. So I hit the clutch and I hit the brake, and I was holding the wheel with my left hand because I shift with my right. So all the shock came straight through the left side of the vehicle, and in turn straight through the left side of me. So I had to go through some physical therapy and whatnot, and I'm still working on it because it's really difficult to not fall back into that stride of rotating my hip and stuff. You know what I mean? You'd have to see it to believe it, but I kind of walk funny, and especially when I'm hiking, that can pose an issue for me in wearing out my joints prematurely. So I try and keep conscious of that all the time, but I end up walking like Bigfoot. Because I'm like 6 foot, 6'1", whatever. My feet are kind of weirdly shaped, and you know, they're long. I don't know. I'm an odd fellow. But When I'm hiking, I kind of have to keep conscious of that because I don't want to injure myself. But as you all know, I can go a pretty long time hiking and not injure myself. Um, but what I want to do is do those through hikes of sections. That would be pretty cool. And also the Appalachian Mountain Club, the like the website, if you like Appalachian Mountain something, I forget what it is. I think it's called the AMC or something. They sell patches for every state of the Appalachian Trail. And what I want to do, I have a very favorite vest. I wear it every single fall, winter, and spring. And I kind of moved away from wearing coats during wintertime. What I do is I layer all the time. So I'll wear a long sleeve tee with a t-shirt over it. Then I'll wear a hoodie, a flannel shirt, and then my vest. So I have like a total of 5 to 6 layers depending on if I throw a thermal in there. And I'm always wearing this vest. I've had it for years. It's my favorite. It's Carhartt. And what I wanted to do was, after every state that I complete on the Appalachian Trail, I want to have that patch. And what I thought would be really cool is if I could make this kind of mural of a map, if you will. Kind of just like the red line of a map, you know, and then for every state, have the outline of the state, you know, with a patch hole to go where it was, you know, so you can see where I was, where I've been, where I'm going. And I wanted to do all the states in succession, start in Maine and go all the way down, so it's kind of like a staggered through hike. Which, you know, in the grand scheme of things would probably cost me more money in travel and that kind of thing, but who cares? Because I can't really just drop what I'm doing and go ahead and do this hike. Well, who knows, maybe in a couple months I might be able to if I can get the money and find work when I come back, but more updates on that will be coming. Anyway, I just wanted to clue you guys into what I was up to, and actually I left off before I went off on the tangent of what I'll be bringing with me. I have my hammock, which is from Byers of Maine. It's a hammock from Byers of Maine, and it's the mosquito hammock. And I also got a Pro Fly hammock rainfly, and it's really cool. It's it folds down really small, so my entire sleeping system is, I think, 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds, which might seem kind of heavy to some people, but it's very comfortable and it's very useful. I can use both of those things at any time, and I do use them when I go out. I make it like a kind of a seat for myself so I can relax and stretch my legs a little bit while I'm cooking or whatever. So far we have the jet boil, we have the Pro Fly, and my hammock. For a sleeping bag, I'm trying to use this fleece one that I have. It folds down to about the size of a can of beans. So that'll be cool, I'll use that, but for the colder nights I'm going to have to use my synthetic bag, or maybe I'll take a down bag. Only downfall with the down bag is that if it gets wet, it's going to stay wet, because it's feathers. So I'm going to have to really weigh the pros and cons there, because I do have a synthetic bag as well. So depending on when I start and when I plan on finishing, that'll pretty much determine when I have those bags. As far as clothing is concerned, I know people say that cotton kills. I like to wear wool, and I learned how to knit, so I'm going to be making an Appalachian Trail knit cap. You know, I'm going to try and wear that and keep my hair under control and keep me warm during the nights. And I'm going to try and learn how to make some socks or something, I don't know. But I find a lot of the socks that I wear are very good for an entire day, and then they just get too wet for me to wear again the next day. So I would just have a few pairs of rotating socks, you know. And that's the cool thing that I found out about wool, is that it actually is one of the only wicking fabrics that I've ever encountered. The other stuff that says wicks sweat away from your foot, it never works for me. Maybe it does for some people, but it never works for me. It just gives me the worst athlete's foot because it sits in my boots and it's just like this oven of messy slop. So I'm not really going to play that game again. So I'm going to be wearing wool, and I'm going to try and wear some synthetics, but normally when I go hiking I just wear like pants, you know, like Carhartt work pants, and those have never given me a problem. I'm not into this whole like wicked lightweight clothing thing, you know, like in the summer I wear shorts. In every other season, I wear pants. You know, even in the summertime, I normally wear pants anyway. I'm not really big on shorts. Even my shorts are long. I just cut the calves off and they look like Hobbit pants. I don't know. But, you know, I haven't decided on my footwear choice yet. I'm probably going to wear the Keen Target 2s. So, you know, but I'll make a complete gear list of what I'm planning on taking, any additional gear that I'm going to go and get. I'll make more videos on that. But I just wanted to thank you for sitting with me this morning. I hope all of you had a great Christmas and have a Happy New Year if you don't see me again. Before then, you will see me again. So anyway, just to recap, go watch Southbounders, watch Into the Wild, and go get Trek. Watch these things. Even if you aren't going to go on these hikes, it's an excellent movie to watch. Maybe you find some interest in something else inside of those things. Like maybe you just want to go on a day hike sometime, or maybe you just want to see a little bit of the outdoors without actually being in it. And you know, they're really, really great production-wise and dialogue even, and just the characters are really fun to watch. So I would definitely recommend those 3 movies, and do yourself a favor and get out there this year.